How about this? Look who's joining us in studio, the one and only Paige VanZant. Wow, what a pleasure this is. I understand, and thank you so much for joining us. I understand you actually came to New York just to be on the show today.
Exactly. I came here just for you.
What a pleasure. But that's not the reason why, right? You have a big meeting later.
I do. Yeah, I have a few meetings out here, so figured I'd stop by while I had some time.
What's the meeting? I think you have one at like 4 o'clock.
I do.
What is it? Can you tell us?
It's a good one.
Yes? You don't want to jinx it?
Don't want to jinx it.
Oh, okay.
Secret.
All right, fine. You're so secretive. And you told us not that long ago you have big plans. A lot going on in the world of Paige VanZant, so that's why I'm happy that you're here. But you were telling me you weren't in Vegas, right?
I was not in Vegas, no.
Where did you watch the fights?
I was in Hollywood.
You were in Hollywood, California?
Yes.
What were you doing there? Other big plans?
Other just fun stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to be in movies now? Are you leaving us?
I hope so. That'd be great.
Have you had talks about that?
No talks about movies yet, but other really good opportunities. Fighting's still my main focus. I'm training in LA right now. So.
Oh, really? Where are you training?
But with just a few coaches that we had over at Ultimate Fitness.
Okay, but you're still a member of Alpha Male.
Still on Team Alpha Male.
I remember last time you told me that. I got texts from people. Uriah was mad at me. Everyone was mad at me. You're still a happy member of the team.
Yeah, still a happy member of the team. Uriah set me up with coaches while I'm staying in LA.
Okay. I actually saw some of your team members on Saturday because Darren Elkins was fighting. Justin Buchholz was there. Mm-hmm. And it seems like things are really, Chris Holdsworth, head coach, sort of. Buchholz, it's sort of like a head coach by committee situation. What's the vibe like now these days?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to be there as much as I would like to, so I don't really have an opinion on how things are going yet, but I can't wait. I hear from my teammates the system is going really, really well, but I haven't been at Team Alpha Male. I've been training other places. Since the fight
against Rose?
Since the fight, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What is going on here? Should I be reading into this a little more?
No.
You're not leaving the team?
Not leaving the team.
Okay, you're still...
No.
Should they be calling a team Alpha Female?
They really should.
They really should. There are more women coming?
Maybe. I mean, really? No, there's just me right now.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a few other girls that are one of my main training partners, this girl, Cynthia. She's about to make her pro debut, hopefully soon. She broke her arm 3 times, though.
Oh, my Lord.
But she's amazing. So I'm just waiting for her to
You've worked closely with Chris Holdsworth.
Yes. Yeah, I've had him corner me twice.
Yeah, what do you think of him as a coach?
I think he's amazing. I love his jiu-jitsu. Obviously, that's what he's known for. But even more than that, he's just a great MMA coach all around. Mm-hmm. He's really, really good at breaking it down so anyone can understand what he's doing. And a lot of times when you have someone that's that high level of an athlete in a specific sport, it's hard for them to break down what they're doing because they're just so good at it. Mm-hmm. So he's been amazing at breaking things down. He's worked with me for my last 2 fights. And I just love his work. So
on Saturday night, I'm assuming that you were interested in the Holly Holm Miesha Tate fight.
Yes, I definitely watched.
Who are you rooting for?
At that point I was rooting for Holly. Actually, I just know her better.
Okay.
I mean, I've met her a few times. She was very personable, so I was going for Holly. Not too emotionally invested in it though, but
right. You just wanted to watch a good fight.
Wanted to watch a good fight. I thought that was going to be an awesome fight.
What did you think about the finish?
I wasn't completely shocked.
Really?
No, I knew Miesha had a really, really good wrestling background, and she was really good on the ground. So when she took Holly down, I knew that Holly was going to be in a bad position, just because Holly obviously has a very extensive boxing background. So I knew if Miesha could close the distance and get the takedown, she could be dominant.
But how about the fact that she's the challenger? She's got, 2.5 minutes left in the fight, and it's either going to be a draw or a loss, probably. Mm-hmm. Given I gave her the second round 10-8 because it was so dominant. And then she pulls that off. That's unbelievable.
That's amazing, yeah.
That's one of the best examples of heart, will, determination that I've ever seen in a championship fight or any kind of fight.
It really is. And, honestly, I'm happy for her. It is a long time coming. Yeah. She's worked very, very hard. She's been in the sport for a long time. So it's awesome to see that she finally got to the title.
And the good news for the UFC is, in my opinion, that this perhaps expedites the return of Ronda Rousey, because Ronda has 2 wins.
It really does. I think it's great for the UFC. It's great for MMA. As a fan, I love to see this. I'm excited to see how Ronda comes back. I'm excited to see how Miesha continues to grow since becoming the champion, how she handles all of it. It's exciting.
Are you the kind of person that thinks that women's MMA needs Ronda around, or are you guys fine with or without her at this point?
Obviously I like to see Ronda around. I think she's amazing. I think she's done a lot for the sport. She's really created a draw behind people wanting to watch women's MMA. I mean, just with what she's done, it's made women's MMA take off so much that people just tune in to watch no matter what. But obviously she's still the biggest name talked about.
Right. And this has become a sort of talking point after the fight. Holly didn't tap. Conor tapped.
Yep.
Is there any pride in your opinion in not tapping? Do you, as a fighter, do you say, all right, I give that woman or that man respect, they went out on their shield?
I definitely do. I definitely give Holly a lot of credit. I mean, I was submitted with a rear naked choke. I tapped out, and Holly refused to tap. That shows a lot of heart, a lot of determination. I think she's going to come out back really, really strong from it.
So is that something, obviously we talked about the loss, but the fact that you tapped, does that bother you more? Like, is that something to be ashamed of?
I think it is. I mean, for me personally.
What's wrong with tap?
Because I think it's just you giving up. It's submitting and saying that I give up, you can win. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that's just where I feel like I could have just gone out.
You would have rather do that?
Yeah, definitely. Really? I would definitely rather have gone out than tap out.
Wow. So when you watch that, you're like, damn, Paige, you don't really care that you care that you lost, but it's the tap out that bothers you.
I do care that I lost, but it's the fact that I tapped out. The fact that I said, Rose, you can beat me. Right. Go for it. Yeah.
When's the last time you watched it?
Still haven't watched it. Still,
wow.
No. I mean, obviously I've seen highlights. I've seen bits and pieces. I definitely think before my next fight, I definitely really want to break down what went wrong. The whole camp, what went wrong with the entire camp, and change a lot of things before I take another fight. Before
watching the fight, you probably already know what went wrong with the camp, right? You probably have some idea.
I definitely have ideas of everything that went wrong leading up to it, but...
Can you share some of those?
No, I don't like to make excuses. I lost the fight. She was the better fighter that day, and I just have to come back and make sure that doesn't happen again.
She's fighting Tecia Torres next.
I'm excited about that fight. I'm very excited, especially Rose lost to Tecia. Yeah. I have Rose winning it.
You have Rose winning?
I do. I think Rose has really, really grown, especially since she was fighting for Invicta. I think she has champion potential, so I love to see her beat Tecia and then fight for a title. Okay. Now
let me ask you about, so the Conor thing, we were just watching Nate do his interview with me in December, and you were cracking up.
Yeah.
Clearly, you are amused by Nate Diaz. Are you a Nate Diaz fan?
I'm totally a Nate Diaz fan.
You're a NorCal person now, so you kind of root for...
I was rooting for him, California. He cross-trains at our gym. A lot of my teammates cross-train with him, so I definitely was going for Nate on that fight. I was happy for him. That's great.
Have you ever actually been in the gym with him while he's there?
Yeah. Funny story. When I was 15, he came and taught a seminar.
Oh, wow.
At my gym in Reno. So that's when I first met him, and then now, since then, it's kind of all come back.
Did you even have aspirations of being a pro fighter at that point?
No, not at all.
So you just went to the seminar?
Yeah, just went to the seminar.
You were a member, was this the Lions Den one?
No, this was another local gym in Reno, and he came out, and then not too long ago, I found the picture, and I sent it to him. I was like, wow, this is a throwback, and it was me and him years ago.
Was Nick there as well?
No, it was just Nate.
How is he as a seminar teacher?
Good from what I can remember. Okay. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Did you sit there and say, you know what? I want to be like that guy.
I did. At the time, I had no idea who he was.
You're kidding.
I didn't know.
So why'd you go?
I was just training for the fun of it, and I thought I could learn a lot by going to the seminar. I heard he was a UFC fighter. Okay. Showed up, and then now looking back on it, I'm like, I trained with some really cool people. Yeah. And that was the same thing when I trained with Ken. I had no idea who Ken was.
No idea.
No idea.
That is unbelievable.
And now I'm like, I trained with a legend. That's awesome.
It only hits you years later. But not knowing Nate and then seeing him, I mean, at first glance, he could be rough around the edges, and you kind of have to get to know him a little more. What did you think of him when you were like, what is, when you hear him talking and breaking things down, did you think that he was a kind of a different cat?
Definitely, but he's just he's the essence of a fighter. Like when you think about a fighter, that's him, and him and his brother just bring even though they're these tough guys, they just bring they enlighten fighting, and they make it super fun and exciting to watch.
So now that the sport has become, this behemoth, how fighters deal with losses has become a big talking point. So people like myself are giving Conor and Holly props for how they dealt with the loss on Saturday. They gave you a lot of props for how you dealt with it, and they're comparing you guys to Ronda and how she dealt with the loss. Do you feel like this is fair? We don't know. I don't know what's going through Ronda's mind. I don't know how I don't know what kind of state. Is it even fair to compare, or is every situation different?
I think every situation is different, and it's not fair to compare. Of course, when I I tried to just pull myself together and know that it's still a business and I need to handle it as a business. But you never know what someone's going through, and especially with Ronda, she was on like, I mean, I was riding a high from having 3 wins in the UFC and then losing one. So of course I was devastated, but Ronda went from being the only champion to not being a champion at all. And I think that in itself, it must have been just like very, very hard for her to deal with. So, I mean, and injuries alone, she had well more extensive injuries than any of us. Right. So, I mean, everyone goes through a different battle before and after the fight.
Is it still somewhat surreal to you that you're a UFC fighter, that this is your life? What, you're not even 20, you're turning 22, or you just
20? I turned 22 in a few days.
Happy birthday. Yeah. Will you be celebrating in New York?
No.
Screw New York. Going back to Hollywood?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it kind of weird though? Like, you know what I mean? This is your life. This is your job.
It's really weird. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's set in. I'm a UFC fighter, but it's still surreal to me to think that people recognize me in Hollywood. Yeah. It's like totally weird that anyone would want to take a picture with me because like, I'm not that cool, but it's cool.
What do some of your high school friends do? Like, what's their life right now?
Gosh, I mean, I've stayed close with just a few people from high school. Okay. Like one of my best friends is a nurse practitioner. I have another one who's a nail technician. So
is a nail technician someone who...
They do your nails.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, I think
that sounds a lot more impressive than it really is.
She does my nails.
Does she do yours?
Yes.
That's nice of her.
She's great.
Wait, are you the kind that, took the elevator up and didn't send it back down? Have you just said goodbye to all your high school friends now that you're a big shot?
I went to 3 different high schools.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's just kind of hard to stay connected because I've lived in so many different towns. Of course, I've stayed close to a few people here and there, and I'm reconnecting with a few people here and there, but I have just a few very, very close friends, and that's all I need. I love them.
The first one was Dayton, Oregon?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's where you were born?
I've lived all over.
Okay. Where have you lived?
Dayton, then I moved to Newburgh, Reno, Vegas, Sacramento.
Where's Newburgh?
Newburgh's in Oregon, too.
So did you go to high school in Dayton?
No.
Where'd you go to? Where are the 3 places that you went to high school?
So I went to elementary school in Dayton, middle school, and freshman year in Newburgh. Okay. And then I went to a high school and 2 high schools in Reno because I went to college early.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were a brainiac.
I'd like to think so. Okay. No, I got an academic scholarship, so I went to college when I was 16. So then for like part of my high school year, I was going to community college, and it's a little harder to like stay connected with people because you're just kind of focused on school.
Why'd you move around so much?
You know, ask my parents. I don't know.
It was all them.
They just like to move. Yeah.
Was it because of your dad's job? Anything?
Yeah. So when we moved around Oregon, it was just, I don't know why, and we moved houses and stuff. But we moved to Reno because my dad was going to get laid off. He hadn't gotten laid off yet, but he knew it was coming because he worked at a paper mill.
Oh wow.
And the paper industry is almost completely gone now. So he knew he was gonna lose his job, so he quickly found whatever job he could find, and it was in Reno.
Okay, and you have one brother, correct?
Yes.
Older. What's your relationship like with him?
Great. I love him.
How does he feel about his sister being a fighter? You're tougher than he is. I don't even know what he does.
In high school, I wanted to be on the wrestling team, and he was in show choir.
What?
So, something got switched there. But,
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
does he go to your fights?
No. He hasn't been to any yet. But
why is that?
He's busy. He's got busy? School. Yeah, he's going to be a music teacher. So.
Wow. Yeah. You talk about. I've read in a few interviews that you were sort of bullied in high school, right? Now, when we say bullied, there's different levels of bullying. There's verbal abuse. There's physical abuse. How bad was it?
A little bit of everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mostly verbal, I would say. I mean, I just went through something really, really, really terrible, and I don't think my classmates understood what happened to me.
Okay, what happened?
Some's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it. Okay.
And I don't think they understood exactly what happened, and then I got made fun of for it, and they just.
So the word got out?
Just turned on me. Yeah, it was. I don't know. They just didn't know like what.
The severity?
Yeah, they didn't know the severity, and just turned on me. And
were they cool with you beforehand?
Yes and no, but so when I was a freshman, or when I was a 8th grader, I made varsity cheerleading. Okay. Like you try out for cheerleading for your freshman year, and I made varsity, and I think a lot of the girls maybe didn't like me because I made varsity instead of having to take 4 years to get on varsity. But I was a dancer, so I mean it it made sense that I was there, I think. And so they didn't like me because of that. And then everything just was a downward spiral.
Wow. And did anyone have your back? Or were you kind of left on an island by yourself?
My mom.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom would pick me up from school almost every day. I went from being over a 4-point student, being in all AP classes, to barely showing up at all. So
you just stayed home? I
stayed home. I would try to go to school. I'd walk there, and sometimes I'd walk home. Or
you would go to school and then come right back?
They'd just come right back.
Wow.
It was too hard.
So your mom said it's okay?
No, I mean, she knew kind of what was going on. I didn't tell her everything, but she knew I was definitely going through a lot. So, I mean, I would call her and just beg her to pick me up, or or just walk home.
You know what's interesting? When I was in the 10th grade, I went to one school 7 to 9 in Montreal. I'm from Montreal, and elementary is from 1 to 6, and then high school is from 7 to 11. 7 to 9, I went to one school. Then I just hated it. I felt uncomfortable. I got into a couple of scraps. People don't think that I get in scraps. I got in scraps back in the day. So I left that school. First week of grade 10, I changed schools, and then I didn't like it. So I went back to the old school, and then I didn't like it again. So I went back to the new school. So I changed 4 times in the span of a month. Nice. So I sympathize with you. And no one was actually like physically or verbally abusing me, but I understand the feeling of just sort of feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, and it was very uncomfortable. I mean, my mom would pick me up every single day crying, and I just don't think that people are aware of the effect their words have on people.
Yeah.
I mean, there were certain times where it did get a little physical, but
wow.
More. I mean, and that I can handle that, but it's the verbal part that people don't realize the effect of what they're saying has on someone. And they say, "Oh, I only said one comment," but guess what? 10 other people said one comment too.
Right.
So it got really hard. And
did you think about changing schools?
Yeah. Kind of. There was only one high school in that town. So it's like that I didn't have anywhere else to go. And so when my dad said we're moving, it was like, thank the Lord, like I need to get out. And I went to high school for one more year, decided it really wasn't for me, and applied for college, and I got in.
Do any of these people know what you do now? I'm sure some of them do,
I'm sure
right?
they do, yeah.
Do you ever hear from them saying, I'm sorry, now that you talk about it? You do?
I do, yeah. I have had maybe 2 or 3 people connect and try to apologize, but it means a lot. It's great to hear. But at this point, it's like the scars, they're still there.
Wow. It
still hurts. I'm still trying to grow, but it's just like the pain I went through was just so real that I forgive them. I do, but there's still scars.
Do you even reply to them when they write to you?
I do sometimes. I mean, it takes me a while because at first I just get mad. I'm like, now you're saying sorry, like so many years later. Yeah. So at first I feel like that and was bitter about it, but then I do realize that it is nice that they're reaching out to apologize.
Do you use these people as motivation when you fight? Like when you're thinking of your opponent, are you thinking more about them and the fight? You know what I mean? Like that could fuel you. Sometimes you picture your opponent on like the heavy bag or something. Do you think of your your ex-classmates like that?
Not during training. I don't. And actually I didn't get into fighting because of it either, but I do think everything I went through, I went from being this really bright, bubbly person, wanting to be on the cheerleading team, doing clubs and stuff like that, to I went from having tons of friends to now I seclude myself. I like to have 2 friends. I turned into like an antisocial person where I was nervous in crowds. I get nervous to go out to parties. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Still to this day. Wow.
So I'm trying to get better at it, and I think that fighting, and especially doing things like this and being in the eye of the public and doing things with the UFC, it really has brought me out of my shell, and it turned me back into a fun, happy person. I went from being happy to miserable for so many years, and I completely lost who I was, and fighting brought me out of my shell and made me so much more happy. And I think that it really showed when I first won my first UFC fight. I just bawled, and I didn't know I had that much emotion in me, and I didn't know I had that much resentment and anger and emotions still about what happened to me in high school, and it all just came out, and
wow.
I felt it all.
Now it all makes sense. So the old Paige is coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah, I'm
slowly
really
but surely.
I mean, and people I think from the outside looking in see me as this bright, fun person, and I'm doing all these fun things, and I don't think they realize like it's really hard for me still. Like going out in the public, going to fights, it's still hard for me to do those things just because I had such a hard year. It was 1 year that ruined me, and
how long ago was this?
My freshman year of high school, so I was 14. I'm 22.
Oh wow. Okay, so less than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was 8 years ago. What are we? 2008. Damn. When you put it in that perspective, Really not that long ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And so my natural question to you was, oh, that's why you went into fighting. The fighting thing has nothing to do with that?
No, the fighting had nothing to do with it. My parents actually, I mean, obviously I talk about how my dad convinced me to start training, and that's completely true. But I think they wanted me. I went from being on the cheerleading team, doing dance and extracurricular activities. When I moved to Reno, I did nothing. I didn't want to try out for sports. I didn't want to do anything. And they of course, they saw this complete change in their daughter, where I went from being so fun and active to not wanting to do anything, not wanting to go to school, not wanting to do anything. And that's when my dad convinced me to go try a class with him. And I think it was mostly to get me out of my shell, to get me to meet people, to be active again, do anything. And just fell in love with it. And then didn't plan on making it a career, but I just got so in love with fighting it. I was happy enough to make it a career, and it's completely just changed me, and it brought me back to life.
When he tells you to come with him to the gym, are you receptive to that idea right off the bat?
No, I wasn't receptive off the bat. No, I told him that he had to take the class with me. Because I was too nervous. I mean, not even too nervous. I just don't like being in groups of people.
Okay.
I mean, it was just really hard because
How far removed is this from that freshman year that you...
It was just a year later.
A year later,
yeah, I was
okay.
15.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's still very fresh then,
Still very
obviously.
fresh, yeah. So, I mean, it was hard for me to be in groups of people because no matter what, if I saw a group of people laughing, I just knew they were laughing about me. Even though I'm sure they weren't.
Right.
But I just knew for a fact those people don't like me. They're laughing. It's about me. So when I went to try new things, it was just really, it was hard. So I convinced him. I was like, you have to do it with me. He took a class with me, and our first class was with Ken Shamrock.
Gosh. And you had no idea. He could have been just some guy.
My dad knew who he was.
Okay. My
dad was a huge fan.
Wow.
Huge fan. And Ken taught us heel hooks the first day.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just stuck with it. And I think Ken was a huge help to that. You know, he's the one who encouraged me to stay in the gym. He's the one who told me I had potential. I could go far. And he's the one who got me to spar the first time. He helped me just come back to life.
At what point do you realize who this man is? Did you go on Google that night?
Maybe like 2 years ago.
You're kidding. So all this time, did your dad not tell you?
No, he did. He told me it was this legend, and I don't think I appreciated it as much back then. But now, of course, thinking about it, I just really appreciate the entire experience.
When's the last time you spoke to Ken?
I haven't spoke to Ken recently. I still stay in contact with his family, though. I'm still in contact with his son. So,
did you see his last
still close
fight?
to the family. I did see the last fight. That was a bummer.
Yeah. You were rooting for him.
Of course. Yeah, I always root for him. But, you know, fights happen.
It was below the belt, right?
Anything can happen in a fight.
Was it below the belt?
I say it was below the belt, you know?
Course. So it's interesting because you were uncomfortable outside of, you know, the gym, and then you go into a place where you're super uncomfortable because you don't know what you're doing. So now you're just adding to the uncomfortableness of your life. Yeah. How long did it take for you to actually get comfortable in the gym?
It took a while. It took a while to get comfortable, but I think what I did like about it is that there was no girls there.
Zero.
I mean, yeah, it was me and it, like, as weird as that sounds, but most of the experiences I had were girls picking on me. It was girls being mean. Girls. Mean girls singling me out.
Like the movie.
Picking on the small freshman. So I liked the fact that there wasn't anyone that could pick on me. As far as there wasn't girls that could hate me.
So you're the only girl in the entire gym?
For the most part.
How old are the people that you're training with?
They were older. There was a few guys around my age. But
were they receptive?
Most of them older. Yeah, they were receptive. They were willing to help me out. I think I did go in with a positive attitude, and I always have a great mindset to learn. I was really receptive to what Ken was teaching, so I think they saw that I was athletic and I wanted to learn.
At some point, does the word get out that Paige VanZant is training and fighting at the school, and are people starting to back off?
No.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it was
Relentless.
my freshman year. It was all stuff that happened in Oregon. By the time I moved to Reno, I had just secluded myself so much that I wouldn't let myself be in that position again.
Okay, so you didn't let anyone even know about you.
No, I didn't let anyone know about me. I just tried to stay to myself as much as I could. I made it through one more year of high school, and then I went straight to college.
That's unbelievable. So how old were you in college?
16.
Damn. And did you graduate?
I didn't graduate from college. I graduated because I was taking college courses. I got an advanced high school diploma.
That is wild.
Yeah.
16. Now, are you doing this from home, or are you doing this from an actual place?
No, it was from the college campus.
Whoa.
Yeah, I went to Truckee Meadows Community College.
What is it?
Truckee Meadows Community College.
I thought you said Chuck E. Cheese's.
No, Truckee Meadows. It's in Reno.
It's in Reno.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you were younger, did you do acting? Did you do things like that?
I did, yeah. When I was 10, actually, my parents, I asked to pursue acting. They were very supportive, very, very
just
supportive.
Out of nowhere?
Yeah, out of nowhere. I tried a few classes in Oregon. I was 10 years old, and they were like, all right, let's go to LA. We moved to LA for
really
a few months. Yeah, we stayed in a hotel for like 4 months.
They just packed up and went with you.
Yeah, packed up and went. I pursued acting. I got one national commercial, and that's it. That's all that came from it.
Where's your brother during this time?
He came too.
He just came.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Came along.
Yep, we decided to be homeschooled for a year, and
what a life.
It was awesome. Lived in a hotel for 4 months. My parents homeschooled us.
Your parents sound like the greatest.
Oh, they're awesome. I have the greatest parents. Yeah, they were just very supportive through all the traumas I've had, through all the crazy things I want to try, to dropping out of school to become a fighter. Yeah, they're great.
So you say you want to go and pursue acting. You moved to LA for 4 months. You get one commercial.
Yep.
What happened?
I don't know. It just didn't work out. You know, we were small town people in a foreign world. We were a foreign world. Yeah, I did have an agent. It was just such this whole foreign world. You know,
you didn't have Mike Roberts.
No, I didn't have Mike Roberts. I didn't have MMA Inc. helping me. Now I do.
And now look what's happening to you.
Everything's changing.
That's right. So at what point do you pull the plug on this experiment?
We gave it a good 6 months, and then my dad, just being an amazing father, he stayed in Oregon the whole time working, so he could support us trying this. So he stayed, worked the whole time. We just missed our dad. Moved back, yeah.
Wanted to go back. Did you ever have any close calls?
Kind of. I don't know. I mean, I think so. I had a few like callbacks in this, but I mean, there's just, when you go to like the commercial, like the auditions like that, there's 100 people trying out for one role. And I was lucky enough I got one commercial. Now,
are you trying for commercials only, or are you trying for TV, movies, everything?
Everything. You know, I love the industry. I would love to do the TV route, movies, all of it. I'm so fascinated, and obviously I have a passion for it from a young age, and I would love to open that door. But obviously, still, I mean, fighting right now is definitely on the forefront. I know I want to be a fighter first, and hopefully as I'm training and doing all these amazing things, the more opportunities can come up.
Now, Eric, Alex, can we see the screen on one of those cameras here, or no? I don't know. Okay, he's going to come in. I just wanted to show something, and it occurred to me that none of our actual cameras over here are pointing to the screen. Oh, okay, so then it's perfect. We don't have to. What was this? What was the commercial?
It was a Bissell steam mop commercial.
You know what? We have the commercial. How about that?
Surprise!
Let's play that commercial. Gosh. This is just fantastic stuff. Here we go. What'd you say it was? Bissell
steam mop commercial.
Bissell steam mop. Is that still around?
Introducing a powerful new way to clean your hard floors.
Yes, there she is.
Oh my gosh.
Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I recognize that face.
That mop wasn't working so well, so we borrowed this steam thing.
You always say steam's the best way to clean.
That's why we already own a Bissell.
I look that old now.
Like, it's amazing.
I look the same.
How old are you here?
Wow, that looks way easier. You don't have to pump it.
So this is shot in LA?
Pull the trigger.
This one was actually shot in Portland.
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
So you got the gig in LA?
And it's already dry.
This is unbelievable. This Bissell, by the way, I just have to add, looks like a fantastic product.
Awesome it is.
100% chemical free. Are you kidding me? And then was there a real baby?
Better job on your mess.
Or was it a fake baby?
The Bissell Steam Mop Deluxe is safe and effective on virtually any hard floor surface.
Oh yeah, there's no baby.
Use it on ceramic, vinyl, linoleum, even
did you get a free Bissell?
No.
No? They didn't give you any? Look, see, there's a baby.
Oh, there was a baby.
Yeah, why were you hiding the steam mop from Dad and me? That's amazing. Now, how long did it take?
That is some solid acting right there.
When's the last time you saw that?
I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing.
You never watched it?
No.
There it is.
Embarrassed.
It kind of popped up on the internet recently. Did you know that? I don't know how people find these things.
I don't know how people find these things. Like, what are you doing?
Unbelievable. How long did it take to shoot that?
I can act. It took took 2 days, I think.
2 days to do that?
Yeah.
I thought it would take like 3 hours. Why 2 days?
Well, because they have to change they had to change the set. We went from different sets. Then they had to film me like mopping up stuff a few times.
Yeah.
Apparently I didn't do it right.
Really?
I don't know. It just took a while. The production side of it.
Sure, of course.
There wasn't actually a lot of lines.
When you get this, how far into your LA journey are you? Did you get it like right off the bat?
I wasn't that far. No, it was actually I got this one after we moved back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was in Portland. I had an agent in Portland that I was working with, got me that one. Went and auditioned for it, got that, and yeah.
Did you think, okay, this is my big break?
I don't know. I was excited. Obviously, I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I made like $2,500, which was a lot of money.
That's huge.
That was huge for me back then. Huge for my parents too. So I mean, it was exciting.
What'd you do with the money?
Saved it.
You still have it?
Oh no, I remember. So I kept saving up, and then I bought my first car.
With that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I kept putting put it away. Yeah, I kept saving, and I bought a car for my grandpa.
Oh, so you didn't even use it?
What?
You didn't use it?
I did.
No,
I bought the car.
Oh, from your grandpa. Oh, I thought you said for your grandpa.
No. I bought a car from him.
Does he sell cars, or he just had a car he wanted to?
Helped me out. I mean, obviously, he gave me like a crazy good deal. I just paid him like.
What kind of car?
It was like a Chevy Silverado truck, big truck.
Wow, a pickup?
Yeah, it was a pickup. Yep.
A real woman's man.
Yeah.
Or woman's woman. Where's the car now?
Sold it. Actually, I sold it to my parents.
Oh, look at this.
And then ended up taking their car. And then I've gone through cars like nobody's business. Don't buy cars on Craigslist.
Oh, gosh. You've had some bad experiences?
Well, don't be a girl who knows nothing about cars.
Sure. No one helps you out with that?
No. I bought mistakes. But now I bought myself a truck.
A pickup?
A pickup. Yeah, I have a Toyota Tacoma.
The pickup truck weighs like 1,000, I don't know how many pounds it weighs. You're such a small, why do you need a pickup?
Because I have toys.
Okay.
I'm an outdoors person. I grew up in the country.
Okay.
So yeah, I needed something I could put my toys in. I have a mountain bike. I have kayaks.
Wow.
Plan on buying a paddleboard. That's my next toy I'm gonna buy.
So is this a brand new car, or is it a used
2015.
one? But
I bought it new in 2015.
Was it new?
No, it was new.
Okay, so you got a new one.
My first new
Look
car.
at you!
Yeah.
Wow, what's the worst experience with a Craigslist seller that you had? Do you have any real nightmares?
Yes.
Okay.
But this was not buying anything.
What was it?
I rented a room off Craigslist.
Oh gosh, what do you mean rented a room?
Like so when I was moving to Sacramento,
okay, I
needed to rent a room. I couldn't afford an apartment, so I went on Craigslist. Found this girl. She seemed really sweet. Moved in with her, and then a week later, I find out she's a nudist.
Oh no!
Because she just walks out of her room with her boyfriend.
Oh my!
Both butt naked.
And you're there.
But yeah, I'm there. They just walk out like nothing's happening. They're not naked. Just like life's good.
Just like making coffee.
Bending over in the fridge.
Oh my Lord! And the boyfriend too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how old are they?
In their 30s.
Oh my!
And then yeah.
And what was your reaction?
I think I was 19. I don't know. I didn't know how to react.
You didn't say like, guys, do you mind?
Hey, you guys, do you know you're naked?
Yeah.
So no, moved out. Yeah, definitely moved out.
How long after?
It took me a while because I didn't have a lot of money back then, so it took me a while, and then I moved in with a teammate for a little while until I got a different place.
Did you explain to her that the reason you were moving out was because she liked to walk around in the nude?
No, I think I just left. I was like, okay.
That's it.
Thanks.
Wow. But how do you know that she was an actual nudist? Just because she was always nude?
I think so.
Because this is like a cult.
Maybe she's not a nudist. Okay. Maybe her and her boyfriend just liked me naked.
Now, with all due respect, if they were like super good looking people, would it have been better, or were they just like kind of fat slobs?
No, they weren't bad looking people.
Okay.
They totally weren't bad looking people. It was just a little, I wasn't comfortable with 2 30-year-old adults.
It's amazing.
Just walking around naked that I don't know. Have
you ever seen that episode of Seinfeld? Are you a Seinfeld fan?
I have seen Seinfeld, but I don't think I've seen that one.
There's one where he, is dating a girl who like fixes her bike and stuff, all while in the nude, and it's bad. Like different muscles are coming out, and yeah, he did not like it either. It
wasn't for me. Just wasn't.
And so when you go move with a teammate, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I feel like sometimes you want to keep it separate.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good while it lasted. Unfortunately, they just lived, in Davis and not in Sacramento. And I really wanted to be somewhere close to the gym. I didn't want to have to drive back and forth. So eventually I found an apartment in Sacramento, which I had for a while, and just upgraded. Got
How did you even end up at Alpha Male? Like, why there?
Yeah, actually... This is funny too. I mean, I didn't know who Uriah was.
Oh my God.
I was a pro fighter, no idea who Uriah was.
So you had already made your pro debut?
Already made my pro debut. I was
you had not heard of the name Uriah Faber?
I was like a 2-0 pro, no idea who Uriah or TJ or any of them were. I just liked doing the sport. So then I actually had a girl who was at one of the rival gyms in Reno. There was two gyms that were rivals. And I know she moved to Sacramento, had a lot of success at Team Alpha Male. And I was like, hey, I should try it out. And my dad said they had a lot of small weight classes. Obviously, he knew a lot about MMA. So he knew who the guys were, that they were smaller. It'd be a good fit. He's the one who guided me. I was driving. I would wake up at 6, drive from Reno to Sacramento to go try classes.
How long of a drive is that?
It's like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So I'd wake up really early, drive to the gym, train for a few days. And when I walked in, I was with my mom and I was like, wow, they really like Uriah here, because his pictures were everywhere.
Oh my God, yes.
So I was like, that's just so weird. Like, why don't they hang up pictures of anyone else? And then I come to find out it's his gym.
When you meet him, do you know by then that he is a legend, or did it take you
No,
you still didn't go back home?
Didn't. I mean, I asked to take a picture with him. I was like, oh, he's famous. I should take a picture with him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, of course, now I know.
I would hope so.
Now
but why don't you just use Google? Like, when someone tells you you're not that type, I want to learn more about this person.
No, I'm like, I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah. But for someone to drive 2.5 hours to a gym in a different state, doesn't it like occur to you, this is a big deal, this gym?
Yeah, I knew it was a big deal, but I trusted my father. He said, they have small weight classes. These are great guys. He does all the facts for me. And whenever I have an opponent, I'm like, Dad, look this person up.
Does he know them already? Like, does he follow everything?
He follows everything.
Okay.
He knows fighting back and forth. And it's totally funny when there's fights, he'll do the commentary and he'll say things before the commentators even say it.
Wow.
He loves it. He was a wrestling coach. So he kind of has a background, but I trust him with my life. So before I take a fight, he's the person I ask, and if he says yes, then I take the fight.
Oh, really? So you have to get his blessing?
Yep, I get his blessing before I take any fight.
Who was at the gym that first day? Do you, in hindsight, like, was Benavidez there or Mendez? Were the big names there?
Gosh, I know Uriah was there.
He was there.
That's all I remember. I don't really remember anyone else. Uriah likes to tell the story about how me and a 14-year-old boy got into it.
A legit fight?
Oh, yeah. We were beating each other up in practice. It was my first day, so I was like, I really need to prove that I can hang with the guys. And come to find out, I was training with a 14-year-old. And
wow.
Yeah. We made each other bleed.
Legit?
Yes.
Now, knowing about your background and how you were dealing with things outside of training, it's got to be tough to go to a gym where it's all guys, and now you're a fighter, and you have to prove yourself and prove your worth. That's got to be sort of a mental hurdle in its own right, right?
It is. It was really hard, and I noticed most of my stories have my parents in them.
That's great. I respect.
To this day, bring my parents to everything.
So they came with you?
They did, yeah. Before I went there, I brought my mom. She came to the gym with me. Brought my dad. Whenever I try things new, I always have somebody with me. So I made sure one of my parents was there. But I really got comfortable. It was just such a great fit because Uriah is such a good person. Yeah. And he was very, very welcoming. Obviously, I wasn't as good as I am now. I wasn't that good when I walked into the gym, but he was just so accepting and told me that these are the classes I have to be at if I ever want to be on Team Alpha Male. It took me a good 4 to 6 months to prove my worth, and then he actually invited me to be on Team Alpha Male.
Oh, so that's how it works. Yeah. He has to actually invite you.
Yeah, you actually get invited.
What was your reaction when he gave you the invitation?
It was the biggest day of my life.
Really?
At that point, I was just obsessed with wanting to be on Team Alpha Male and actually be a part of the team, and he made it really special. I went in and I got to sign paperwork saying I was a part of Team Alpha Male, and then he posted a picture of it, and it was a really special day.
Did they throw a party for you?
There was no party.
No party.
No, cake? No party.
So knowing him like you do, all this stuff with TJ, do you think it really hurt him inside?
Definitely. Oh gosh, I know it hurt him, and I feel so bad for the guy. He has a lot of stress going on in his life that not everyone knows about. Mm-hmm. He's just such a nice person. He has such a big heart. I do think that things affect him emotionally. When he cares that much, he puts in a lot of time and effort into anything he does. It
seems like now there's this crop of young guys coming up there, like the Cody Garbrandts of the world, and you have guys like Elkins doing their thing. I feel like I'm missing a youngster. Mike, who am I missing?
Andre Feely.
Touchy-feely, big fight coming up April 23rd. Yes, against Yair Rodriguez. And some of the older guys are sort of finding their way. It feels like a bit of a transitional period for the team. Would that be fair?
Yes, it's a huge transitional period, especially Danny stepping up as a coach.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, Danny Castillo, now head wrestling coach.
Wow.
We got Chris is stepping up as a head coach. He does the whole jiu-jitsu side, and he steps up as an MMA coach as well. So a lot of transitional changes going on, and there's this whole wave of fighters that are just on the rise at our gym. So they're completely unknown yet, but they're amazing athletes, and there's a bright future for a lot of fighters out of the gym.
Now, your parents, when you fight, are they in attendance?
Yeah. So my dad goes to every fight.
Every fight.
He tries to make it to every single fight, and for the most part, I feel like he was at all of them except for my first fight.
Okay.
My pro debut.
One?
My pro debut.
That's the big one.
I took it on short notice.
Okay.
So there was no way for him to take work out and go to Texas. But my mom never went to fights. Lo and behold, the first fight she went to was my fight with Rose. And I'm sure I bled on her.
Oh, really? Damn. Did you know she was there?
Poor thing. Yeah, I could think of it. I just thought about it in the fight. I just I hope my mom knows it's not as bad as it looks. Because at the point, I look up on the screen and I could see my face covered in blood. I'm like, no. My mom's going to be so worried. And I just felt so bad for her.
It's funny that you say that, because I think a lot of people, when we saw you look up at the screen, they thought like, oh, look at Paige. She's just looking to see how she looks. Like, oh, she's just this pretty girl that's worried about her looks. But you were thinking about your mom.
Oh
and her
my gosh,
reaction.
I was so worried about my mom because she doesn't go to fights, and it was a big deal that she went to this one. Mm-hmm. And I was so worried about her, and I knew she was just going to be an emotional wreck. And actually, hearing afterwards, my dad was the one that was a wreck.
Really?
Yeah.
They must have been.
And my mom stayed calm and collected, but I never want to put my mom through that again. So she won't be at the next fight.
She's done.
She's done.
Wow.
After that one, she's done. I felt so bad for her. I just wanted her to see it was a small cut. It looked terrible. It wasn't that bad.
Did you cry when you saw them backstage?
Yes. Oh gosh, I was bawling. Right away, I told them I was like, I love you guys, but you have to leave, because I knew if I look my mom in the eye, I'm gonna start bawling.
Yeah.
If she tries to hug me, I'm gonna start bawling. So I just needed to make my parents just wait. I told them I'm okay. Just go wait somewhere else for me. And then me and my manager just handled business. Went to the press conference, handled business, went to my hotel room and cried with my parents.
You always seem to cry more with the parents. I'm the same way. There's something about them that maybe it's just being comfortable.
Yeah.
You just let it loose.
I'm vulnerable around them. You know, they make me vulnerable. I'm just so comfortable around them. And my mom knows that everything I'm going through. And when I looked in her eyes, I was like, I'm going to break down. So I just told them to wait in the back. I'm going to go handle business. And then I cry later.
So obviously there's a lot going on. Some you can tell us about, some you can't tell us about.
Yeah.
But Mike over there tells me you want to fight UFC 200?
I do. I think, time-wise, that just works perfect for me. I'll get a great camp leading up to it. I have a few other special things going on right now that I have to take care of. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Big news coming.
Yes.
But yeah, I would love to be on UFC 200 or after that. I think that would be just a perfect time-wise.
Anyone we have in mind?
No, I think I have a whole list of girls that are ready to fight.
Yes, your name comes up all the time.
Yeah, my name comes up all the time. So I know the fight will be there. There's going to be fight options out there. It's just getting the UFC to make a good matchup, and I can get back in there. I'm eager to get back in the cage.
Have you told this idea to the UFC brass, and are they on board with you?
Yes.
Oh, they are?
They are. They know. They know I want it.
So can we pencil you into that card against TBD?
I say yes.
Okay.
We're waiting on the UFC, so put me down for UFC 200.
I like it. Now, I feel like you already know the opponent.
I don't, actually. No word. Absolutely none.
Do you have a dream matchup right now?
No, I don't. I think there's so many. I mean, there's this whole wave of fighters that are coming off the Ultimate Fighter, too. So
That's right.
There's going to be a whole wave of strawweights coming out there. I think there's just going to be plenty of options.
Okay. UFC 200. All right. And hopefully we'll find out soon about your big news.
Yes.
Okay.
Stay tuned. It's coming soon. Soon.
I look forward to it. Well, what a pleasure this has been. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Great to talk to you a little longer than usual. And I really respect you talking a bit about your past. I know it's still somewhat fresh. Do you want to talk to more kids? Like, do you want to be a role model like that?
Yeah, I do want to be a role model. And I've had a few girls reach out to me, which I just love that I can connect with them, because I needed someone that I could look up to that had been through it before, and I didn't have anybody. And my mom was the only inspiration I had. She was the only person that pulled me through those few years. And even still, I didn't tell her everything that happened to me. She doesn't know everything that happened. Wow. I kept it to myself. So I just want to be just a shoulder to cry on for anyone who needs it, especially young girls who are going through bullying, because people say, oh, in the real world, it won't matter. But for them, that's their real world. That's what they're going through. It's the real world. It's what they're going through right now. And the pain they feel, it's real. It hurts. And I just want to be a voice and an inspiration that it gets better. I promise it gets better.
Well done.
Thanks.
Nice job. Thank you again for coming. Good luck with all the big news, and we look forward to seeing you at UFC 200.
Thank you.
Paige VanZant, everyone. I'd plug her Twitter name, but you see it right there. And if you're listening to this, you probably already follow Paige VanZant at Paige VanZant UFC. There she is, one of the biggest names in the UFC, top strawweights in the world, and she's got a lot of big news coming up. So keep it locked on that. I'm assuming you'll be sharing it with the world over there, right?
Yes. The world will know.
I remember when you got the Reebok deal, you were dancing all around.
Yeah. Oh, this will be more.
Okay.
More.
I look forward to it.